Welcome back to Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider Anime Review, episode number 16. We're reviewing 16 episode series, An Imposter Can't Beat the Original. So, in the case of this episode, we begin with Yukio being informed by one of the Shaka bandits about Thunder, Ryukio, about her taking out the Shaka bandits who basically broke the brainwashing. All because they found love. And then he goes see his love is basically his dog. And then he's killed by her. Right after that. So, and then we cut to Tojima, where he runs into the food vendor from the very first episode of the show. And they chat and have some Odin. They have some beer. And then the gangster from a few episodes ago who Tojima ran into, the one who's also a Shaka bandit, calls him an imposter because he thinks he's the actual Kamen Rider because he just wears a mask. Tells him, don't get in our way. He even transforms right in front of the air two who are shocked. Of course, Tojima is not surprised by this because he sees before just like 2 or 3 episodes ago he saw this. And then after this, then we cut to Yukio where she's talking to Yuriko, who, given how she's dressed, probably is on the way back from basically school. And given the time of day, it's probably she's on the way home from school because apparently she doesn't have a car. Like, if you think about it, I don't think any of the characters in the series got a car. Not really, no. So, and then they're confronted by Thunder Reniko, which, of course, Yuriko basically starts fighting her for a bit. But then, all of a sudden, Yuriko just puts on the costume off screen and then proceeds to fight her for a bit. Even does a head scissors, like goes up in the air, and at one point, you see her looking up her skirt, and then she has a head scissors. It goes to the ground, and then the fight is interrupted by a guy in a tracksuit who's got fangs. Who is this, you might ask? You'll find out in just a minute. So, then he starts fighting. By the way, in the case of when Thunder and Yuriko are fighting, Yuriko is punching her face, and Thunder is chopping her chest. Yes, chopping her right on top of her breast. Which, okay. And even does, by the way, the flip tackle thing, that's basically head scissors into almost to a suplex. And then he basically, then of course the guy in the track shows up, breaks Yuriko's leg, and then of course basically he's about to bite her when of course the guy who thinks he's Rider Man shows up, and then he transforms to Batman. Yep, this is Batman from Shocker. And no, he was never called Man-Bat. Despite the fact he debuted a few years prior to the comic book Man-Bat, this is, even though that you could say Man-Bat is loosely inspired by him, here's the thing with Man-Bat, I can't exactly know like the design-wise of what the heck he's based on, purely because both the creators since passed away. Neil Adams passed a few years ago. Frank Ribbons passed away in the 1980s. According to Neil Adams himself, when he actually told me this, he told me he's the one who basically created Man-Bat. He has no idea why Frank Ribbons was credited as co-creator of the character. It's not like Neil Adams basically came with the initial design of the character and everything related to him. It's all his idea. And that's according to Neil Adams, what he told me. So, when it comes to that, do not call me a liar. I am repeating what late Neil Adams told me this at Comic-Con. I think it was the first Comic-Con I went to where I met him. I saw him 6 times. So, then he transforms. By the way, the guy who claims his brother is not in the episode, which is interesting. Why is that here? Is Queen question. Of course, Tojima has to leave work early. And then, of course, you have the guy who's Rider Man fighting the Shocker Kamen Man who shows up. A whole lot of them. And fights him for a bit. Tries to fight Batman. And then all of a sudden Tojima shows up when he does a Rider Punch. And proceeds to beat the crap out of a bunch of Shocker Combat Men. Because of course he does. Tries fighting Batman when he sees him, like he said, just has monster. I'm like, You are a Kamen Rider fan, dude. How do you not know who Batman is? Why? Because he appeared in like 2 episodes? Yeah, he appeared in episode 2 of the show. Yes, seriously. Okay, if you're really curious of exactly about this character here, which of course design-wise, the guy is made mostly the same except for the belt. Now, Man Spider, yeah, he has pretty much appeared, like, he only appeared just in the first episode, and he was brought back in episode 13, and that was the last you saw of him. Well, kind of anyways. Yeah. He also blushes at seeing him. He's like, monster. I'm like, did you forget this is Batman? Seriously? Yes. He does the fang thing with the biting thing like he does. He did it also in the show. Of course, he hasn't biting people per se, though. He didn't have any teeth as he did basically in the original show. He fights him, and of course, apparently they're too powerful. Then they have to flee. And then, of course, Yuriko basically is, well, drooling on the table while Yuriko's been bandaged up, like, you gotta get to the hospital. And Tojima's, like, doubting himself. The fact he couldn't beat Batman. Yes, a monster who the original cover defeated by doing a Rider Kick and throw him off a roof. Yes, seriously. Yeah, so like in the case of Man Spider, he also technically appeared in 2 episodes. He appeared in episode 2 and 13. He also appeared in Kamen Rider vs. Shocker, and that was last I saw of him. Oh yeah, also when the guy who's Rider Man basically sees him, it's like, oh, I remember you. Yeah, and we flash back to when he killed, I kid you not, when he killed his grandparents. Oh, and that was Mitsuba. Yeah, Mitsuba. Yeah, he remembers that. And I'm like, okay, interesting. But overall, really good episode. I would say my first good one in a while. Oh, and the guy who's Hichiro, that's his name. Yeah, I kind of forgot. I know he was one of the Yakuza. They mentioned also his gang is gone. Well, the Yakuza group he's part of is gone, but he's joined Shocker. Yep. Well, that was, though, like I said, great episode. Oh my gosh, yeah, by far, like I said, really good episode. And we have roughly about 8 more to go. Now, the thing is, those of you curious, though, is there going to be any other Kamen Rider monsters who appear in the series aside from Man Spider and Spider-Man? As a matter of fact, yes, they actually have 2 more. Which they have not popped up yet for some reason. After up here, I have no idea. Oh, and this episode, cover the manga. Well, they didn't edit it here per se, so unknown. But it seems as though that, well, Tojima is also doubting himself by the end of the episode. But yeah, good. I love this. This was fantastic. Overall, there's roughly about 8 more to go for the entire season. Yes, I have heard there's going to be a season 2. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I thought I had time doing more, but it's getting kind of late, so I'll see you all tomorrow, okay? See you. Bye.